And guess who's a day late this week?
The Horror Guys.
It's the Horror Guys!
Yay! With last week's podcast. Yay!
I'm Brian.
I'm Kevin.
And we're recording this one on a Monday.
And things happen.
Things happen, yes.
But here we are.
Late, but better than ever.
That's right. And we got a mix this week.
Yeah, we got
some good stuff and we got some not good stuff.
I'm not quite clear which of the two I'm going to call my best of the week, and I'm quite certain which one's going to be the worst of the week.
Yep, I think we're in agreement on that.
What do we have?
We have the brand spanking new The Woman in the Yard, new this year.
Uh-huh.
And another new one, 825 Forest Road, and Crazy Texas. It's a trio of 2025 movies.
Yeah.
And then Caddo Lake, which is newish.
It just came to streaming.
Super-duper
It was released last year, but it just came to streaming, I guess.
Yep. And then 2006's Final Destination 3.
Which is new and no way of looking at it.
We've been making our way through the Final Destination movies.
There's more of them than I thought.
Yeah. What are we going to talk about first?
Well, first of all, we should probably talk about Horror Monthly, where you can get all the reviews in print once a month.
I like that.
Yeah. Every movie we watch in full, with all the full synopsis, with a full commentary, full spoiler-free judgment zones, and of course our ratings of what is best and worst of the month every single month.
And you can get it in a paper format, like a real live book.
Whoa.
Or ebooks.
That too.
Wherever fine ebooks are sold.
Yeah. Go over to horrormonthly.com. This month's issue is right there on the front page, along with all the back issues, 43 of them.
Dang.
Probably don't want to get them all at once.
Mother's Day's coming up. Perfect gift.
If you got a really horrible mother, get her some Horror Monthly.
Who's a big fan, get her all 43.
Huh. There ought to be such a thing, a Horror Monthly in-law.
Yes.
Yeah, that's horrormonthly.com. Or, of course, if you just want to sign up for our absolutely 100% free weekly newsletter, go over to horrorweekly.com. Put your email in there, and you'll get one email each week with all of our reviews in them. Everything we're covering here this week is in one email.
And that's where you want to go if you want to see the full review. Because we just give you a taste.
Yes.
We just give you a taste here. We don't spoil anything anymore.
Yeah.
Or as little as possible.
For the last 100 episodes or so, we've stopped spoiling. So, yeah, if you do want to read the whole thing, every ins and outs and ups and downs of these movies, Horror Weekly's got it for you.
Yeah, it does.
Or if you need a nice, quick, easy search function, go back over to horrorguys.com and type it in there and look for it.
Mm-hmm.
But first, we have... Who's that outside the window?
It's a woman in black sitting in a fancy chair.
It's The Woman in the Yard, 2025. Directed by Jim Collet-Serra, written by Sam Stefanik, stars Danielle Deadweiler, Akwi Pakwasili, oh my, and Peyton Jackson. Hour and 28 minutes, trailer in the show notes.
And we apologize for that pronunciation if we got it wrong. She's a very beautiful woman, like an exotic beauty. She reminded me a little bit in appearance of Grace Jones.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah,
uh-huh.
Yeah. High cheekbones, beautiful. Yeah.
Don't ask me to say her name again.
Yeah. But yeah, this was quite a movie. We went into it because there was a lot of buzz and people were saying, "Oh, we love this movie." And
let's see, Final Destination. Obviously, we knew what that was about. The other four of them, I think we all went at all four of these blind.
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, spoiler free.
Well, we're going to say the cast is excellent, and it all looks really good. They do manage to ramp up the tension out of what sometimes is not much when you really think about it. They're inside safe and secure, and there's a woman sitting outside.
That's the movie right there.
And they're horrified at times, and it is tense, but it does build nicely. We do gradually piece together what's really going on, more or less, and it does have a wrap-up, but that's where it fell a little bit flat for us. We were disappointed with the ending.
I found the whole thing a little hard to believe.
A little bit.
People are out in the country.
But I was enjoying it as it was going along, and then the ending's like, really? That's it?
And then there's a strange woman in the front yard, and they are just terrified. The son wants to go outside with a gun. I mean, come on, it's an old woman sitting in the yard. What's it hurting?
Scary. She had scary shadows.
And the little girl kept screaming. They never saw the shadows. That was for our benefit.
We saw the shadows.
We know there's something going on, but they didn't.
Yeah.
Well, a woman watches a video of her husband talking about naming their farm. Ramona watches it over and over, clearly depressed. Her son Taylor comes in and breaks up the depression. The power is out, and he wants to call someone. As she finally gets out of bed, we see that she's got a broken leg. She says good morning to her imaginative daughter, Annie, and heads downstairs. Ramona's husband, David, the man on the video, has obviously just recently died, and the family has lots of unpaid bills. The food in the fridge is going to go bad pretty soon. Remember, the power is out. And she can't call the power company because now her phone is dead.
And she can't charge the phone because there's no power to charge the phone with.
We soon get a flashback to the traffic accident that caused all the trouble, but then that's interrupted when Taylor reports that there's a strange woman out in the backyard. A strange woman in black out in the backyard. When Ramona decides to go outside and see what the woman wants, the kids act terrified of the stranger. It takes forever for Ramona to get to her on crutches, but she makes the attempt. "How did I get here?" the woman asks. She's weird and seems to know more than she should about her and David.
And we don't see her clearly at all. She's completely
wearing this
covered
dark
in
veil, yes.
In a black veil. Yeah.
"You called and I came, Ramona." Well, Ramona gets scared, goes to the garage, where she plugs her dead phone into the car lighter plug, but the car is dead too. Ramona comes back inside and locks all the doors. She makes up a story for Tay and Annie. A little while later, the old woman is now sitting a little closer to the house, and we see that the old woman's shadow affects things in a bad way.
And she brought her own chair with her.
Guess so, yeah.
Yeah.
The family dog had been barking nonstop, but Ramona notices it's got awfully quiet outside after we see that shadow spreading around.
That's not a good sign, is it?
She goes outside to see about that and finds nothing. The dog is missing. And the dog's rope is like buried under the ground. We're like, she's going to pull up a dog that's been buried, isn't it?
That's what I was expecting.
And that's not what happens.
Yeah.
The dog is just not there. Taylor wants to drive to a neighbor's house. Ramona can't drive in her condition, and Taylor's not old enough. He wants to walk to a neighbor's house. It can't be more than a couple of miles. Well, bad things continue, and we're going to stop there.
Mm-hmm.
How scary can a woman in the yard be?
Pretty darn scary.
Well, like Kevin said, the ending was kind of vague, but if you read the spoilery part at Horror Monthly or HorrorGuys.com, you can read my opinion on the ending. But I thought it was reasonably clear what happened at the end. I've read a lot of people like on Facebook groups and so forth that have no idea what happened
And saying it was ambiguous, and
it
could have been
really that ambiguous.
Oh, I don't know. It could have been ambiguous. Yeah.
Well, we have no idea why everyone was so scared for that first hour. An old woman was sitting on their lawn, and they were talking about calling the police and getting out the gun. Sure, it was an unusual situation, but why the overblown terror of an old woman who has done or said absolutely nothing? And there were only 3 real characters. Well, 4 if you include the woman in the yard. 3 real characters, and 2 of them were children, so we weren't expecting much of a body count. But we didn't expect for the monster to be what the monster turned out to be.
The kids were good.
Especially since...
Good actors.
Yeah, the kids are both good, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it looks good. The acting is good. I'm skipping a bit here because I don't want to get too spoilery.
No.
It's well-paced, but the actual plot and resolution we thought were kind of awful.
Well, I wouldn't go as far as to say awful, but yeah, I was disappointed at the ending.
We were entertained throughout,
Until
but then afterwards we had a bad taste.
Yeah, the last few minutes kind of, really? Yeah.
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 2024's Caddo Lake is up next. Directed by Logan George and Celine Held. Written by Celine Held and Logan George. I wonder how long they negotiated to get those names out and then those orders.
In that order.
Stars Dylan O'Brien, Eliza Scanlon, and Carolyn Falk. Hour and 43 minutes. Trailer on show notes. So this is called Caddo Lake. And you see a boat going down through the swamp. And what did you think it was going to be?
I thought it was going to be a Monster in the Lake movie. I knew nothing about it.
Giant alligator or some tentacle creature.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was expecting.
Especially very early on, they find this dead alligator that something took a bite out of it.
That's been bitten in half. And that was probably just a bigger alligator. This happens.
There is no creatures in this movie.
There's no creatures. There's nothing scary there. It's not horror. But it could be horror adjacent.
It's close enough.
Yeah.
We went into it pretty much blind, and it was much more than either of us expected. It goes along with not too much out of the ordinary happening for a while, only some hints of weirdness, and we get to know the characters.
And they are good characters.
And then things abruptly take a turn and stay wild from there on. We both really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm. Good cast, good writing.
This is one of my 2 best choices of the week.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
One of my favorites that I've seen so far this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
so
up
you're going to go with number 1 on this one, then.
It's up there. Well, I don't know, because I really liked 825 Forest Road, too.
Yeah, they're both very
Tough
good.
choice. Yeah, these were excellent. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, what happens?
Well, a man and a woman wake up in an already flooded car. He gets out, but she doesn't. And we see that they went over a bridge, and credits roll. Well, today, Paris, the guy in the car, and his coworker Zed talk about how they keep finding stuff in the swamp due to the low water levels. They are removing old pipes and junk for scrap. And there's an old damaged dam that's being repaired, and it's messing up the whole ecosystem because the water is so low, and they're afraid to open it at all and let more water in because they think it's going to collapse if they do. And yeah, it's a mess.
That would be bad.
And there's a full-on drought. So the swamp is really low. There's a lot of ground exposed that normally wouldn't be. Well, Paris and his father, Ben, are supposed to go to a funeral. But Paris doesn't want to see her there, so he just drops off his father and leaves.
Whose funeral was that? Were we ever told?
No.
It was not really relevant.
It was not really clear, and it's not relevant. But his ex was going to be there.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to run into her. Yeah. Well, we cut to Ellie, talking to Anna about Ellie's annoying mother, and where Caddo Lake got its name. They take a small boat out to deliver groceries to some people. These are sisters and stepsister. Yeah, stepsisters. They find a dead alligator, which something bit it in half. And this is where I was thinking,
monsters.
It's a monster in the lake. Yeah. Anna, the little girl, finds some dead moths, and she brings some of them to dinner and shows people. But those are supposed to be extinct. Those don't live around that area anymore. And there's also some talk of wolf sightings, but there's no wolves around there anymore. So this is kind of weird. Well, switching over to Paris, he talks to his doctor about his mother's condition, a doctor. His mother shouldn't have been driving, or maybe she should have. But she just had a seizure at a bad time was all, according to the doctor. These things happen.
She was the one that died in the car.
Yep, and Paris is still dealing with it. When he gets home, he runs into C, who he'd been hoping to avoid at the funeral. So they walk over to a very unfinished house and pretend to make pasta in a very open-air kitchen. And I think that they had plans. This was going to be their house, and things fell through, and it never got built. And
well, apparently he's still obsessing
really
over
married.
his mother, and it's been several years. He took some real mental damage from that.
Yeah, he's got some issues. Well, later, over in Ellie's family, Celeste throws a family dinner and talks to Ellie, her daughter. They talk about Ellie's dad, who's been missing for years. And Ellie needs his death certificate for college admissions. And Celeste is kind of holding back on that. Her stepfather, Daniel, seems like a genuinely nice guy, but she clashes with him. And Paris apologizes to C about not appreciating her attention after his mom died. He was in a very bad place at the time, still kind of in a bad place. Paris's dog, Wally, has been barking at the water a lot this week, and that's not like him. And then we cut to Ellie again, whose boat hits something in the water and breaks a propeller. And we also see Paris, who's in a different place, and Wally hears something big and boomy out there. And then Ellie sees wolves, which are supposed to be impossible, and yet there they are. We should stop there, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
They keep switching back and forth.
Ellie and Paris.
Ellie and Paris are in this same little community, and we keep flashing back and forth between their different families and what's going on with them. And things get more complicated and more weird as it goes on.
They get a lot more complicated.
Yeah.
We're almost in before we see what this story is really all about. And what a twisted story it is.
Mm-hmm.
We were in a ways before we realized that.
You can't say that.
I can't say that.
You can't spoil. Yeah.
You really need this one spoiler free.
Yeah.
It develops very interestingly.
And if you can go into it blind, do so.
We were very confused over a couple of the characters at one point, and oh, that's not the same actor, is it? Yeah, okay. And yeah, some of these people, yeah, very good casting, knowing how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we thought it was very good. Kevin said one of the best of the year, and I think it's one of the best this week for sure.
Oh, definitely, yeah. And again, it's low key on the horror, more science fictiony. Yeah, but
it has missing
it's
children
got the elements,
and death and stuff in it. So,
yeah,
all right.
It's got the elements. Yeah.
All right. Next up, we've got 2025's 825 Forest Road. Have you been to 825 Forest Road?
I can't find where it is. I can't even find Forest Road.
Oh.
It's not on the map anymore.
Well, if you find it, it was written and directed by Stephen Cognetti, who stars Elizabeth Vermiglia, Catherine Miller, and Joe Falcone. Hour and 41 minutes. Trailer for YouTube in the show notes.
And Stephen Cognetti is the guy involved with the Hell House movies, the Hell House franchise.
Oh, this was so much better than those.
I thought so too. Yeah.
I don't really care for those Hell House movies.
I thought they were hit and miss. I like
the LLC
I liked
ones.
Some of them. And I was impressed with this too. The cast, for being so good in this, they're not super experienced.
I've never heard of any of them.
Yeah, looking at their IMDb credits,
Mm-hmm.
the main characters haven't done a lot of stuff.
Well,
as far as acting.
Spoiler free.
Spoiler free. I've lost my thing because I was looking at IMDb credits. Okay, spoiler free. Well, like we alluded to, this is an excellent film, creatively done, and the same section of time replays from three different points of view, the three main characters, and then there's a wrap up that brings it all together very nicely.
Yeah, I really like Caddo Lake, but I'm going to have to say this is my favorite of the week, and it very well may go on my top of the year.
Well, I think they're both going to go on my top of the year. I'm torn.
It's only April. This year can't be this good.
Okay, so far, yeah. I don't know which one is my favorite of the week because I like these both so much.
Well, I can tell you, Caddo Lake, I was thinking about much more afterwards. If that's the way you judge good movies, which I often do, you think about it for days afterwards. Caddo Lake got it.
Mm-hmm.
This one, not so much. It's very clear here what's going on.
Yeah.
Well, two girls have theories about a haunted house, and they've been doing research forbidden by their parents. Ashley hears a knock on her bedroom door, but she's the only one home right now. She looks around and there's no one there, but then the knocking continues. So, this looks like a very standard haunted house story. Nothing much to it. Oh, yawn.
It does, maybe. Yeah.
But then it gets better.
And these girls are talking about Forest
Road. They know about Forest Road.
And the one that we see that's not on the computer has maps of this. She has
a theory where it is.
And a theory on where it is, yeah, because it doesn't show on the city maps anymore.
But we don't see what happens to these two right now. Maria, Isabel, and Chuck walk around the house that they're considering buying. Isabel isn't their kid, but Chuck is her brother. They move in and find the roof leaks badly. Maria does some kind of sewing podcast. She's got a terrifying mannequin in her studio. Boy, that thing's scary.
Yeah, basically she makes and designs clothes for a living as a profession. Yeah.
Oh, and then we get it on the screen, it says Chapter 1, Chuck. And basically the movie's got the three main characters. Each one gets their own chapter. Larry, a neighbor, introduces himself to Chuck. Chuck complains about the leaky roof, but the roof is supposed to be new. New, old, used houses, what you gonna do?
Yeah.
Larry mentions that the old owner killed themselves, so he can't go back on them. Chuck takes a photo of the buckets of water, and when he looks later, he sees a shotgun in the photo. But he doesn't own a shotgun.
We're already getting weird ghostly things.
The next morning, Martha the mannequin is outside. Larry comes over to ask about the very real-looking mannequin, and Larry also asks about Isabel's mother who died in that car accident. Off-screen.
Mm-hmm.
The house seems to prey on the most vulnerable, so he warns Chuck to keep an eye on Isabel. He also suggests that he read up on the town history at the library and join a gardening group. He's very specific about this gardening group, almost as if it's a code.
Yeah, look into that, yeah.
At the library, Chuck runs into Ashley, one of the girls from the opening sequence, and she's been crying. Just put the books back and leave. It's real. It's all real. Don't look for it. Just get out of this town. And the librarian jokes that he'll never find Forest Road in those books. And he sees some other weirdness on the library, too. And the librarian knew what he was looking for before he even got there.
Yeah. And it was funny, kind of funny, and you do find out, more about it later. But he walks by an aisle, and there's no books on the floor. And he walks by that aisle again. There's a big stack of books in the middle of the aisle. And he goes up to the desk, and he mentions something about the stack of books. And the librarian's like, oh, yeah, they both kind of look at each other.
Roll their eyes, and I'm on it.
Yeah, I'm on it. So they've seen this before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chuck teaches piano, and Olivia, his first student, arrives at the house. Someone is playing music, and Olivia is in the other room with Chuck. There's an old woman at the piano, she says. But no one is there when they go back in the room. Olivia can't wait to run out the door. That's really bad for business.
Mm-hmm.
Larry invites Chuck to a secret meeting in the basement of a building, and the people there talk about the things they've seen.
It's the garden club.
Yes, it is.
The secret underground garden club.
We haven't had a suicide in years until Ashley. Everyone here has been affected by her in some way. She feeds on suicides. Ashley was the girl he saw at the library that morning.
Oh, my.
Helen Foster has been inflicting pain on the people of the town for decades. Everyone knows about her, but no one knows how to stop her. They have to find 825 Forest Road. That's where Helen killed herself in the 1940s. But since then, the town has redrawn the map. They changed all the street names. They've gotten rid of the numbers. And for some reason in 1980, the town council wiped out all the records of where the old stuff was, just before they all died.
Well, no, they had sealed the records previously, and they were having a meeting talking about unsealing the records,
yes.
And they all got slaughtered. So since then, they have stayed sealed again. Nobody messes with those records.
So Chapter 2 is about Isabel's point of view, and we go back to the very beginning. When they moved in, Isabel isn't thrilled about being there. She keeps having dreams about her mother. Chuck asks if therapy is helping. She's an art student, and she drew a perfect picture of the new house, but she drew it years ago. Back when that mannequin ends up outside, Chuck blames her, but she swears she didn't do it.
We should stop there.
But yeah, basically we get from the beginning to the end from all three characters' point of views.
And there's ghostly stuff going on.
And more is revealed all along. Oh, and there is a Chapter 4 also. Yeah.
Well, Chapter 3 is Maria.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Chapter 4 is Forest Road, which is kind of the wrap-up of
everything. They do find it. Well, it's kind of a mystery as everyone tries to learn what's really going on. Everyone knows something is happening, but they have no idea how to stop it. The three different points of view is a neat way to tell the story. I think if it was just one long point of view, it would have gotten pretty boring.
And it's interesting, too, how I thought it was fairly realistic, the townspeople, how they're dealing with it. Some are just in denial. Some are like, oh, it won't be that bad. And we can, you can get used to anything.
What was the one, Under the Dirt or something, a couple weeks ago where the whole town was in on this plot and then we just thought that was just unbelievable?
Yeah, I can't remember the exact title. Yeah, it was the doctor that came to town, and the whole town was in on it. That was kind of a different situation, though. Yeah,
but those people could have left at any time, and they were all terrified of everyday life.
Mm-hmm.
This seems a little more low key. Like, mind your own business, you'll be fine.
Yeah, keep your head down, don't stir things up.
Yeah. Well, anyway, obviously it's a ghost story, but it's not about a haunted house. It's about a haunted town. And as I said, I like this one a lot. It'll be in my top 10 for the year, most likely.
Yep, same here. Yeah, it was great.
All right. And then we heard about Crazy, Texas, which is the name of a town. Crazy, Texas. Directed by Francis Juarez. Written by Jordan Bradley, Mark Isaacs, Francis Juarez. Stars Wes Gillum, Anna Pena, Bella Fon Crow. Hour and 31 minutes. Trailer in the show notes. And if the previous is on my best of the year, this one is almost certainly going on the other list.
I feel
the naughty list.
I feel this is one of those we watched so you don't have to.
This movie sucks.
We didn't care for it at all. Yeah,
you're so much more polite than I am.
I am. Yeah.
We've been through that. Okay. Spoiler free. We didn't care for this one much at all.
Yeah, see?
It
So
lacks
polite.
a plot, or at least we really couldn't pick up on much of one. The story, such as it is, just kind of sits there stalled. The performances are just okay. Nothing stood out for us, and we were bored. The cardinal sin of a movie.
Yeah, I think when bad movies happen to good people,
That's us.
well,
We watch them so you don't have to.
the cast, I don't think they were horrible actors. I think they just had
No, actually,
not
I
enough
think
to not enough to do.
The main guy was pretty good.
Yeah, and so was Rocky, his sidekick.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the girls were okay. I mean, the cast, wasn't hateful. I think they didn't have much to work with.
This seems like an indie movie that may have gotten more press than it would normally get.
I don't know, something went wrong.
Yeah. Well, what happens?
Well, Rocky and Trevor talk about playing a trick on some girls. Trevor is the smart one, and he describes a kidnapping as what he's doing. But Rocky is a simple fellow, and he goes along with it without really fully realizing the bad thing that they are doing.
But later on, he seems to know exactly what they've done. So
I think
maybe he's
so.
just playing kind of dumb here. Yeah, he's into it.
Well, yeah, but not like Trevor is. Yeah.
No.
Well, and then we cut to a bunch of Christmas carolers, because it's a Christmas movie.
Well, sort of.
Yeah. The two kidnappers break into the house and put everyone to sleep. They carry out two women and drive away. And they stop to change cars and clothes and then pass right through a police checkpoint. And credits roll. Well, the two women, Avery and Lily, wake up chained to chairs. And we flash back to a funeral where Avery and Lily mourn their grandparents. After they hear the reading of their will, the two girls get a large sum of money to split.
This kidnapping was not random.
No. Well, Trevor, he's playing Christmas songs on the record player at the wrong speed, and it torments the girls. It torments us, too. Yeah. He knows everything there is to know about them, and he says that they are both here because they are true believers. He seems like a religious fanatic, but it seems like there's more to it than that, too. Lily wants to do what the man says and gets released, but Avery just wants to try and escape. He knows about their inheritance and their grandparents. Avery remembers Trevor from church. Avery's confused about the date, and she's told it's Christmas Eve.
Okay, let's just stop there.
Okay.
Now, Avery remembers Trevor from church. This guy is their therapist. They have gone to him for years in therapy, in his office, talking to him.
We see
and now they're
flashbacks.
suddenly acting like they don't know him.
Yeah,
I think I remember you from church.
I didn't understand that.
Neither do I.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just
later
not
on
a,
we
it's
cut back
not
to
a good script.
we cut back to the flashbacks, repeated flashbacks. They're all in different clothes multiple times. This goes on over a course of months, where they're sitting in his office and he's sitting in the chair doing therapy with them.
Mm-hmm.
How could they not? I mean, he's got his hair down, but he's not that different.
No, it's still him. Yeah, same voice, same face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's just the first thing. There's so much. It's just awful. It's like someone heard the blurb for Heretic last year and tried to make a movie like that.
Maybe.
But they misunderstood the whole point and got it all wrong.
yeah.
There's two girls and a guy, and it's sort of religious themed. So there's that. But otherwise, this all off the rails. We were starting to lose interest about a half hour in and wondered when the plot was going to start. At about the 1 hour point, we were still wondering what the point of all this was.
It was just kind of stuck in neutral.
Yeah. Wes Gillum once played Charles Manson in a film, and he certainly got the look here.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking, he looks like Charles Manson. But other than him, it's a very indie cast, some of whom have never acted before. The actress who plays Lily, this is her only credit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And the dialogue here is slow and pretty clunky. Why did Olivia think Trevor was involved in the girls' their friend Olivia comes looking for them. And for some reason, she knows that he's got them in his building. And there's no reason she would have any reason to suspect him. He's a creepy old man who tries to invite her in. That doesn't mean that he's got her friends in there.
It's just not a good script.
Toward the end, Avery has this weird hallucinogenic dream sequence. It looks kind of good, but that's like 2 or 3 minutes of an otherwise incredibly dull film.
I found myself doing other things while it was on. My attention kept drifting, and I have, That's the trouble with having a computer and a phone within reach when a movie's on.
Well, the problem is I have to type these synopses, so I can't play on my phone while we're watching them, unless it's really bad.
Yeah.
Oh, this one was.
Pretty bad, yeah.
Final Destination 3 from 2006, directed by James Wong. Written by Glenn Morgan, James Wong, and Jeffrey Reddick. Stars Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Ryan Merriman, and Chris Lemche. Hour and 33 minutes, trailer in the usual place. Spoiler free!
Well, this one was more of the same, only different specifics. There's a vision at the beginning before a disaster that saves some people that were meant to die, and then death comes after them, 1 and 2 at a time. And this time the disaster was a roller coaster that falls apart. The deaths are even more Rube Goldberg, the chain of events, and they're suspenseful and creative, and this time around there was, even more so. The acting and direction gets the job done, the effects are good, so basically if you're a fan of the previous films, you'll probably like this one too.
Yeah. So anyway, we're reading the reviews that went on last week's show, and this past week, just yesterday, we watched Final Destination 4 for probably next week, and we went out driving later, and I'm like, see, 1 was the airplane, 4 was the race car, there was a roller coaster. What was the other one? And he had to look it up because neither one of us. When these movies are so similar,
they all run together.
Yeah.
And I couldn't name you, which the deaths that come after the initial disaster. Those are just a complete jumble in my mind of which movie was which.
Yeah, I like the series. It's well
good.
made. They're good, but they are
entertaining.
all the same.
Very interchangeable. Yeah. The fourth one, which we'll talk about.
Next week. Yeah,
we didn't think was quite as strong, but these first 3 I think are real consistent.
Yeah, if you liked 1 or 2 or 3, they're all good. Fourth, I thought took a little dip because they added some new things that I didn't think helped, but. That's suspense. We'll talk about that next week.
Yeah.
For part 3, we see footage of a carnival as credits roll. When that's done, we cut to a bunch of people on a high drop ride. Wendy takes a photo where the ride is high dive. I thought the thing was going to just fall right then and there, but it doesn't.
See, that's the thing. You're in suspense on these.
Yeah, you don't know what's going to happen.
What is going to really kill these people? Yeah.
And when she looks at the high dive and takes the picture, the photo shows high die with the V gone dark.
Well, that sounds ominous.
Wendy, Kevin, Jason, and Carrie are having fun, and Wendy is also taking photos for the school yearbook. The group decides to ride a roller coaster with a talking devil on it.
Which is the voice of Tony Todd.
It is. He doesn't actually appear, but he's got his voice.
Uh-huh.
Wendy is weirded out about it, and they all argue about where to sit. A weirdo that they know, Frankie, wants to sit behind a couple of hot girls and takes Wendy's seat. She and Kevin end up sitting in the very last car. Well, we cut to a hydraulic leak somewhere on the ride. They ride up to the top hill and let loose. Yep, it's a roller coaster. It does all the things. Frankie drops his camera, which breaks something, and the whole coaster starts coming apart and everyone dies. And I've just let out 5 minutes of gory, detailed deaths. Everybody dies in different ways. It's all very graphic and cool.
But then we flash back. It was just Wendy's vision.
Oh! She sees everyone still getting on the coaster. Wendy says, "We have to get off here. It's going to crash." Of course, they're already on the ride, so this results in a fist fight, and most of the characters get off. The ones remaining ride the coaster and die. Sometimes later, Wendy looks at a memorial to the dead students. Kevin tells her about the people in the first movie. There was a death-avoiding premonition then, too. It does sound like her situation. Wendy isn't listening. Well, the 2 girls who should have been in the front of the coaster go to the tanning salon. Remember those?
Tanning salon with tanning beds.
The attendant is really busy and lets them self-serve. We see that the shelving unit is loose. The attendant gets locked out. There's a high-voltage sign. This place is clearly a death trap. One thing leads to another. They get trapped inside the tanning pods and burned to death before the attendant can get back inside.
We should stop there.
They're dying in the same order they did in the vision.
And again, they figure out kind of what's happening, and
they avoid it?
Trying to figure out a way to avoid it. Will they?
Well, we're both
survive?
Pretty sure we had not seen this one before.
I never had. Yeah.
I don't remember. Like I said, they kind of run together.
Yeah.
Even if you like them, they kind of run together. If you get confused between Halloween 4 and Halloween 7, nobody's going to blame you too much, but there's only 4 of these. We're already confused.
Yeah.
No one from the previous two films are in this one, so it's a whole new start. The deaths in this one are the whole point of the film, and they're more Rube Goldbergy than ever. You know who's going to die next, but the various clues and hints as to how are often red herrings. There's a lot of hints, and some of them don't go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's well made, with good special effects and very creative deaths. If you're a fan of the series, this is pretty much just like the others, more of the same.
Yep.
You love it or you hate it.
Yeah, I kind of like them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, we're all out of movies.
Oh, no.
We got to watch more for next week.
Okay.
I bet one of them's going to be Final Destination 4. We kind of spoiled that
Yeah,
one.
we kind of gave that away.
Yeah.
And then they're making a new one, too.
They are. There's a new one going to be out next month.
Bloodlines, I think it is.
I think there's a remake or a foreign something else. There's another one beyond 5.
Okay.
But I don't know how official. I haven't got them yet, so we'll see.
All right.
And that's all for this week. Until next week, I'm Brian.
And I'm Kevin.
See you next time.
See ya.